Hi, welcome to this podcast on how to write the perfect leaflet. This is for the GCSE English Language Writing exam. This is for any exam board that does non-fiction texts. So here are the kind of text you might get in the exam. You'll get two of these. Like I said in this video, we're looking at leaflet. The one thing I would say straight away is that I'm telling all my students that if you get a leaflet, I would write it just like we would write an article. So we've covered an article, a lot of lessons. So I would write my leaflet pretty much like I would write my article. So if you want to look at the article video, I go into that in a bit more depth than I'm going to do this video. So look at the playlist and how to write the perfect article, have a look at that. So here's a kind of question you might get. Write a leaflet aimed at persuading young people not to smoke cigarettes. The leaflet could include sections on problems caused by smoking, the benefits of never starting smoking. You can also use other ideas that will persuade people. Remember, this is a test of your writing skills. You may show what illustrations would go, but you shouldn't spend time drawing pictures. Out of 20 marks, like every other exam question. So first of all, what is a leaflet? So a leaflet is a document containing information or advertising and usually distributed free. So this one at the bottom is trying to sell nutritional sweets. So they may be written to tell people things they may want or need to know. So for example, the government will issue leaflets to inform people about health issues. So this one down below is on smoking, which is just like what our exam question is going to be on. The tone will depend on your audience, so a leaflet whose main audience are teenagers will be much less formal than one intended for older people, so your language should reflect that too. Things you must do in a leaflet: organise your writing into headings and subheadings, and these should probably be catchy, and also make your language as engaging as interesting as possible. And avoid these mistakes. So I know it sounds silly, but don't fold your answer booklet. I have seen people try to fold their answer booklet into a leaflet. You don't need to include pictures or colours. I know it says in the exam you can say where a picture would go. I wouldn't bother doing that at all. I would just completely forget doing pictures or colours. And must include enough writing, at least a page and a half, but you should be looking for 2 pages. So remember, this question is basically saying try to persuade people not to smoke. So I would pick 3 bad things about smoking and write 3 developed paragraphs on those. So the things I'm going to pick are, obviously it's bad for your health. My second one is that you spend a lot of cash on smoking. And my third one is that it smells really bad to smoke. Your clothes and your hair and even the room is smelling of cigarettes. And there's my 3 that I'm going to write on. So if you write developed paragraphs, which you should do, lots of writing, so 6 or 7 sentences, then you need 3. If you haven't written a lot, do a 4th one. So how are we going to structure our leaflet? So number 1, catchy heading. Number 2, catchy introduction, and we will go through all of these. Then 3 or 4 central paragraphs. So my 3 paragraphs are going to be on bad health, money and the smell, and then you need a little short conclusion. Remember, 1 point per paragraph. Do not put lots of points in the big chunks. So what I mean by that is, if my 3 points are money, bad health and smell, don't just put them in one big chunk, and make sure you have 1 paragraph per point. So here's my structure again. So I've got my catchy heading with Save Your Life, Stop Smoking. Then I've got a little introduction, which I'm going to go into detail on all these things. Then I've got catchy subheadings for all 3 of them. I haven't just put bad health, I've put get your breath back. Then I've got my first point, my second point, my third point, and then my catchy outro or my conclusion. So my plan would be catchy title and subheadings, then my catchy intro, then my health, cash, the smell, and then my outro. So if we read it now, so I've done this on the computer, and obviously you can't do red and black in the exam. You have to use a black pen, but you can maybe put your subheadings a little bit bigger, or underline them just to make them stand out. So I would say this is probably over 2 pages if it was written with a pen. So you should be looking to write about this, or maybe a little bit less. So let's read it. So my heading, Save Your Life, Stop Smoking. And then I've got my intro. Thousands of people in the UK smoke. Thousands of people die each year from smoking related illnesses. So why do you smoke? Let's get straight to the point. You could be the next person to die. Let's stub it out forever. Then my first point, get your breath back. Have you noticed you are constantly coughing, or maybe your nails are going slightly yellow? All of these are signs that the 200 chemicals in cigarettes are beginning to affect and deteriorate your health. If you continue to smoke, it is possible to get lung cancer, bronchitis and other illnesses. Gradually, your senses of taste and smell begin to decline. Smokers die on average 15 years sooner than non-smokers. Don't be a butthead. Money, money, money. Do you like putting your money down the drain? Puffing 40 or 50 cigarettes a day will cost the average person £3,000 a year. That money could mean that a few of life's luxuries could be yours. How about a holiday in the sun? Equally, you could save money for a new phone, car or house. So you need to stop wasting your money and breath on these foul fags. And then my third point for stopping smoking, the sweet smell of non-smoking. The smell of smoke is dirty, grimy and disgusting. What does your house smell like, or do you not even notice anymore? Like a smack to the face, the stench of smoke hits you straight away. And what about your children? You surely heard of passive smoke and the damage it can do to innocent non-smokers. In a recent survey, 35% of people were identified as being exposed to second-hand smoke. Quit now and let your family take a breath of fresh air. Then my little conclusion, stop smoking today, in capital letters. It is the only surefire way to boost your ego, health and bank balance. Okay, so there's my structure again after I've read it. Okay, so I've just put the names of the paragraphs. So generally, the idea of a leaflet is you're trying to persuade people. So I think this is pretty persuasive, and it's used quite a few persuasive techniques for people to stop smoking. I've given at least 3 reasons to say why people should stop smoking. So a lot of students struggle with how to start anything. A letter, article, speech and a leaflet is no different. So first of all, you need a catchy title. So you wouldn't get as high marks if you just put smoking. Okay, so you should think about what the leaflet is about and see if you can think of something interesting, and using DAFOREST might help you do that. So remember, the question again is stopping teenagers smoking. So the one I chose was save your life, stop smoking. So save your life is using direct address, almost speaking directly to the reader, and stop smoking is alliteration, so it might catch the eye. Or time to bat out is a little bit more of an emotive one, with butt as in a cigarette butt, but butt as in sort of stop doing it. Okay, and then how am I going to do my introduction? Well, a good way of doing the introduction is using the exam question to help you. So my intro again was thousands of people in the UK smoke, thousands of people die each year from smoking related illnesses. Okay, so first of all, I've used 2 short sentences, to draw the attention of the reader, but also it's a statistic straight away that is just shocking people, where it's almost saying, well, thousands of people do it and thousands of people die. So it's almost saying to the reader, if you smoke, eventually you will die from smoking. So then I've used a rhetorical question, so why do you smoke, to try to draw the reader into my leaflet. And then I've used let's get straight to the point. So if you look at all my other videos, I've tried to use this phrase in the introduction as well. And the reason I'm doing that is that using a colon is going to up my spelling, punctuation, accuracy and grammar. So remember, you can use a colon to introduce a list, but you can also introduce it if you're going to want to make a statement particularly memorable or give attention to a sentence. So you could be the next person to die. I'm drawing attention to that by saying let's get straight to the point. I'm also using the word you as direct address, speaking directly to the reader. And then I've got let's stub it out forever, saying we're all in it together, we can all get rid of smoking. So again, making the reader feel like they're really part of it. So how are we going to impress the examiner? So one way is pretending to care. So I know that some of you won't really care. You might care about smoking, but some of you might not care about writing leaflets. However, if you just care about it for the 30 minutes you would do this exam question, that enthusiasm will come through in your writing. Another way is saying it is okay to cheat. So what I mean by that is that you're not going to go in with biro answers all over your arm. What I mean by that is you can make up statistics and facts in your article or in your review or in your speech or in your leaflet, and it will make your writing seem a bit more believable, a bit more factual. So for example, according to a recent survey, 36% of people said Ryan Gosling was their favourite actor. So if you use that statistic in a review, for example, it might seem a bit more believable, it might seem your writing a bit more persuasive. So if you do that in everything, particularly leaflet, make up statistics about cigarettes. And number 3, don't be afraid to be over the top. So the way we're going to be over the top is by using DAFOREST that I mentioned earlier. And here is DAFOREST. Direct address, alliteration, facts, opinions, rhetorical questions, emotive language, statistics and rule of 3. So you shouldn't be using these all the time because you don't want to be overkill, but a leaflet is a persuasive document, so maybe you should try to use these maybe at least once in the leaflet, or some of them maybe a couple of times. So if we look at the ones that I've done, direct address, so it's talking directly to the reader using you or we. So you need to stop wasting your money. Alliteration, stop smoking. Rhetorical questions, so why do you smoke? Emotive language, I haven't just put the smell of smoke, I've put the stench of smoke, which makes it sound even worse. Statistics, 35% of people were identified as being exposed to secondhand smoke. So I made that completely up. However, it makes my writing a bit more believable, more persuasive. And rule of 3, which sticks in the head of the reader, boost your ego, health and bank balance. I've done 2 little plans during this video, and although it might seem like it's quite a lot, if you practice it, it should only take you 1 or 2 minutes, and you can put this at the top of your exam paper, and the examiner will probably give you a mark just for doing the plans. They won't technically, however, if they see you're thinking about how to structure your answer, they probably will give you a mark for it. Okay, so we talked about the DAFOREST. So here's my leaflet with no DAFOREST highlighted, and then there it is with DAFOREST highlighted. So you'll notice pretty much straight away that it's nearly all DAFOREST, and that's what you should do. So stop smoking, it's almost an order, but it's alliteration. So my pink is my statistics, my emotive language blue, rhetorical question green, power of 3 grey, alliteration is yellow, and direct address is red. So all the way through I've used DAFOREST. You get marked, and you'll get C's and B's and A's for using stylistic devices. That's what the examiner's looking at the top of the mark scheme. And this is what DAFOREST is: stylistic devices, writing devices you're using to try and persuade the reader. Okay, you're also going to get higher marks if you use sentence starters. So it's really boring starting sentence with the, a, I all the time. So try to use a sentence starter with a word ending in ly. ing, start with an adjective or 2 adjectives. So I haven't done it lots and lots in my leaflet, but I have done it sometimes, and here's some other ones that you can start with: firstly, secondly, finally, equally, however, for example. So loads of different ways to start the sentence. So another thing is using different lengths of sentences to get higher grades. So if you use a short sentence, sometimes it really draws attention to it. So for example, I've done a short sentence to start on my leaflet: thousands of people in the UK smoke. So it's a short sentence which draws the eyes from the reader. In my paragraph about the health, I've ended with don't be a butthead, so really short sentence. And then right at the end, my concluding point, I've put stop smoking today, another short sentence to draw the attention of the reader. Okay, so there's my leaflet structure again. All of these PowerPoints and videos for all of the writing and reading exams are available at bpcenglish.wordpress.com. So if you wanted to print off this slide, download the leaflet PowerPoint. So top tips for leaflet: use the correct structure, use DAFOREST, create a catchy headline and subheadings, use interesting sentence starters, vary the length of your sentences, use interesting adjectives, check your there, and there, and check your apostrophes as well, because that will be expected to get C. It's expected that you can use capital letters, apostrophes, and there, and there. Like I say, this was just a bit of a quicker video, so if you want to look at this sort of question in more detail, have a look at my article video. Any questions, drop me a comment section in the comment section box.